We are tracking severe weather across our area. On the left side of your screen, we've got that first warned Doppler radar. You can see it is lit up green. And on the right, a live look from our Chevy storm tracker. Brad will have your forecast coming up in less than 60 seconds.
And drivers beware, the I-77 Catawba River Bridge project is about to get underway. We're going to tell you what that means for heavy delays and some ways to maybe get around it.
Plus, President Biden outlining a new vaccination goal for the summer. We'll tell you what it is. Thanks for being with us here for the news at 4. I'm Vanessa Rufus.
And I'm Bill McGinty. We're going to begin with that severe weather threat throw. Here's a live look at Uptown Charlotte right now from the view camera. You can see those ominous clouds and the rain as everything's starting to roll in. Right now, York, Union, and Lancaster counties are under a severe thunderstorm warning.
And this is after we saw storms sweep across the south yesterday. Take a look. This is just some of the damage from a possible tornado that formed west of Clover yesterday. You could see it wiped out agricultural buildings there.
Just like a sheet of water hit my windows and I couldn't see, so I came inside and looked out my kitchen window, and that's when I saw the turkey barns just explode.
And now we are giving you a live look from Rock Hill as severe weather moves in, and you can see those cars are moving through a bit of a ponding spot out there on the roadway.
Yeah, let's get right over to meteorologist Brad Panovich, talk more about the weather that's going to be moving through. So Brad, how long is this going to last?
It's going to last probably for the next couple of hours. Now it's moving pretty quickly, but unlike yesterday, this is more of a big straight line of those severe storms, and you can see it moving through the area. As you mentioned, we've got severe thunderstorm warnings for Union, Chester, York, and Lancaster counties. This is for damaging straight line winds, especially this segment here. You look how it looks like a bow and arrow, and we call these bow echoes because that kind of shape means there's really strong winds forcing it out towards the middle, and then it's slower winds on the edge, so it gets that arc shape to it. But that's usually indication of very strong straight line winds. You got to watch these because where these little notches form on either side, you sometimes can get brief spin up tornadoes. So we'll keep an eye on this, but right now this is primarily for straight line winds. Both of these warnings till 4:30 and 4:45 this afternoon. Heavy rain to the north, but the back edge is already showing up. So I think it's going to be about a 2-hour window here that we see these strong storms move through and then clearing back towards the west. You could see those numerous warnings. And again, straight line winds, please stay indoors until these storms move through because there is a lightning threat and a damaging wind threat as it pushes through. Our severe weather risk, low to medium, depending on where you are this evening across the region. Coming up, we'll continue to track these storms and let you know when the worst is going to move out. But the timing of this rain could not be worse. It is rush hour, and that's where meteorologist Aisha Scott is right now out in the Chevy storm tracker. Aisha.
Yeah, Brad, you know, I want to show you where we are right now because we're on 77 southbound, actually just crossing over into York County. And man, the roads are wet and the rain is certainly coming down. I've passed a couple of people who actually pulled off the road so that they could pull off to the side and wait for the rain to kind of slack up a little bit before they keep driving because cars are coming to a sudden stop. I have noticed that, so just make sure that you are increasing your following distance if you do have to travel in the rain. Of course, if you don't, stay indoors. Traffic is moving, but it's moving at a slower clip as you would expect. And the rain has certainly started to pick up as we've made our way farther down 77 southbound. So right now we're crossing into South Carolina on 77. And boy, it is just a messy commute out here. So if you can stay indoors, that's going to be your best bet. And so the heaviest of the rain starts to push a little bit farther to the east, which should be a couple of hours. So again, if you don't have to head out right now, I would suggest not to. Reporting live in the Chevy Storm Tracker, I'm meteorologist Aisha Scott. I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
Aisha, thanks. We're also hearing of trees down in the York County area, right there along Highway 321 at California Street. Apparently, the trees have taken down some power lines. Here's a live look at the Duke outages right now in the Carolinas, and it looks like there are roughly 1,000 people in York County without power. It's a good time to remind you if you want to stay connected during severe weather. WCNC Charlotte's, we're always online with our app, with the WCNC News app. It's especially an important tool. If you lose power, you'll be able to watch the radars and stay connected. You can download it for free. It's in your app store.
Well, in just 2 days, all southbound lanes on I-77 at the Catawba River Bridge will close for major renovations. We've been telling you about this project for a while, but Thursday is the big day. That's when the first closures start, and they will last for 6 weeks. WCNC Charlotte's Ruby Durham joins us with all the details.
With the Catawba River Bridge being 50 years old and more than 120,000 people crossing it daily both directions, SCDOT says it's time for a makeover. Starting Thursday, traffic officials are closing all southbound lanes on I-77 at the Catawba River Bridge for 6 weeks. Southbound traffic will be diverted to the northbound lanes for about a half a mile. This change will reduce both directions down to 2 lanes to maintain traffic flow. Here are the ramps that will also be closed during the closure. The southbound I-77 on-ramp from Sutton Road, the northbound I-77 on-ramp from Cherry Road, and the northbound I-77 on-ramp from Celanese Road. Northbound I-77 on-ramp from the collector distributor along exit 82 will also see closures. SCDOT says a detour for these ramps are US 21 and Sutton Road. Other alternate routes to consider: Hands Mill Highway to Highway 49, Highway 49 across Buster Boyd Bridge in Lake Wiley, Highway 5 to Highway 521 North in Lancaster County, and Highway 160 to Highway 521 in Indian Land. If you live in neighborhoods like Riverwalk, Baxter, or Kingsley, SCDOT officials are warning you to expect an increase in cut-through traffic. And those closures start this Thursday at 9 p.m. up until May 24th. That's 17 days of major delays expected from Fort Mill to Rock Hill. Ruby Durham, WCNC Charlotte.
Ruby, thanks. Those alternate routes are going to definitely be jammed, so allow more time for your commute. You know, SCDOT held a session this afternoon explaining more information involved with this bridge makeover that Ruby just told us about. Tanya Mendez was at that session. She's got more.
Well, there's already proof of the work that's about to get underway in the next 2 days. If you look behind me, you can see a lot of the equipment has started to stage here at exit 83. And with 120,000 cars that pass down that highway and this stretch of road every day, this is going to be a major headache for a lot of people. South Carolina DOT is about to begin work on one of the busiest sections of highway in the state.
A very, very busy bridge with a lot going on.
Thursday, they're closing lanes on 77 in both directions between Sutton Road in Fort Mill and Cherry Road in Rock Hill to replace a 48-year-old bridge deck over the Catawba River.
Due to the deterioration and the numerous repairs we've had to make over the years.
For the people who travel between Charlotte and Rock Hill, progress is going to be painful.
It's going to be rough. Traffic accidents going to be backed up. It's just going to be rough on everybody.
DOT, Rock Hill, and Fort Mill taking steps to try to mitigate the traffic, staffing up this real-time regional traffic management center, planning to adjust the timing of traffic lights on the main roads leading to the highway during the heavy backups, putting additional law enforcement on patrol, a 24-hour wrecker service on standby, and the contractor on notice.
We know how important this bridge is to the mobility across the state, but particularly here in the York County region. So we've got $10,000 per hour if the contractor's late.
This work is scheduled to end in 17 days, and the pressure is on for the workers to complete it in time, because otherwise you're running right up against the opening of Carowinds and also Memorial Day weekend. Reporting in York County, I'm Tanya Mendez, WCNC Charlotte.
Well, all new this afternoon, President Joe Biden setting a new vaccination goal to deliver at least 1 dose to 70% of adult Americans by July 4th.
Yeah, this comes as the administration is really pushing to make it easier for people to get their shots and then bring the country closer to normalcy. The new goal, which is also including fully vaccinating 160 million adults by Independence Day, comes as demand for vaccine has dropped off markedly nationwide, with some states leaving more than half of their vaccine doses unordered. President Biden will call for states to make vaccines available on a walk-in basis and will direct many pharmacies to do the same.
Walk into your local pharmacy without an appointment. Go to the doctor or local health clinic. It's free. It's nearby. Every adult is eligible.
The White House says it is now planning to start freeing up doses from the states that don't use their full weekly supply to go with the states that are currently experiencing a high demand.
And on that note, but closer to home, several vaccine providers in North Carolina are already refusing new doses as urgency for the shot wanes. Data from North Carolina's Health and Human Services shows vaccinations have fallen for 3 straight weeks. The state hit its vaccination peak about a month ago, and the last week of finalized data, which was 2 weeks later, shows that by then vaccinations had fallen nearly 40%. Local vaccine providers like Novant, for example, are acting accordingly.
We did defer again this week. We have about 40,000 doses of vaccine on hand right now. we're not having to throw any out. We can store those for weeks and months at a time. So we're not throwing any out, but we certainly have plenty on hand.
And Avant is not alone. This week's vaccine allocation report shows dozens of providers statewide have refused new shipments of both first and second doses.
A North Carolina Rip Current survivor recounts his near-death experience. He ended up saving a life in the process, but he says he doesn't feel like a hero.
And severe weather ripping through the southeast. We are getting a look at more of the damage.
And here's an updated storm track on this line of severe storms that has prompted the warnings for Lancaster, Chester, Union, and York counties. It's moving east at 40 miles per hour. Stay indoors until this storm moves through. Damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour. I'll have an updated track when we return.
What's a
CNC Charlotte. Looking ahead to Wednesday, another chance of rain and storms, then much cooler weather moves in on Thursday. It's all tomorrow morning. You can see the difference right here starting at 4:30 on Wake Up Charlotte and always on Roku and Fire TV.
We are continuing to track all the severe weather sweeping through the Carolinas this afternoon. The first warn radar showing storms popping up all over the Charlotte area. We're even seeing some hail in some areas. Right there in the box on the right, a viewer from Lincolnton sent us that. Brad's busy in the Weather Center as we speak. He'll have the forecast coming up for you in just a few minutes.
Meantime, right now, if you are asking where's the money, get your resume and head to Gastonia. So if you missed out on today's Gaston Workforce Development Job Fair today, don't worry, there is another one coming up soon. And so because of COVID, the events have been kind of like a drive-through style. Job seekers were able to meet with more than a dozen employers and community organizations at the Gaston County Library on Garrison Boulevard. We're talking about places like Dole, GSM Services, Contegra Health, NC Works, and Gaston College. Those were folks that were on site to speak with the candidates.
It was a good day. I learned a lot, met a lot of people, a lot of good job opportunities out here.
The Gaston County Public Library hosted its first drive-through job fair back in November, and as we mentioned, there's another one coming up. The next event is from 10 to 1, 2 weeks from today, same location. Meantime, Lowe's is also making a big hiring push. It's holding a national hiring day with the goal of bringing on board more than 50,000 store associates. The company wants to fill seasonal, part-time, and full-time positions at more than 1,700 stores. Candidates can interview and receive on-the-spot offers to join, and if you're interested in advancement, Lowe's offers development and career advancement opportunities for all levels. The company actually says that nearly 200 current store managers started their Lowe's careers in seasonal roles.
Well, tonight on the NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt, the new surprising hiring challenge out there. Companies can't find enough workers. In Atlantic City, the casinos, they're hiring again, but a recent job fair, only 20 applicants showed up for 1,800 open positions. Companies across the country say they are experiencing a shortage of staff. More than 40% of small business owners say they can't fill the open roles they currently have. Tonight on the NBC Nightly News, what's keeping all the workers away and the bonuses that some employers are offering to lure back seasonal staff. We're also talking about this today. The U.S. set a new record for air travel since the start of the pandemic.
That's right. The TSA says it screened more than 1.6 million people at U.S. airport checkpoints on Sunday, and that is the highest number of people screened since March of last year. However, that number is still 35% below what the TSA reported on a Sunday in May of 2019. Airlines starting to see a picking up of bookings in mid-February, and they do remain hopeful for the summer vacation season as more Americans are getting the COVID shot. Last month, the CDC said that fully vaccinated people can travel domestically with little risk. Turning back to the weather around our region, a Georgia woman died yesterday when a tree fell on her home during the storms. This happened just south of Macon, Georgia. Authorities say that a severe thunderstorm cell with wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour caused that tree to fall on the mobile home.
Yeah, this severe and dangerous weather is really happening, as Vanessa just said, all over the southeast. NBC's Jay Gray is following it for us.
The chaos unleashed early in Texas. Tornadoes, heavy rain and hail, a string of violent storms rushing from the southwest through the southeast.
That was on the other side,
leaving a trail of destruction.
I heard the tin ripping off the roof and glass breaking. I guess that's when the tree went through the living room window.
Roofs and siding peeled away from homes and businesses, windows shattered, blasted from their frames. Other structures crumbling in on themselves from the force of the wind. Survivors overwhelmed by the power and intensity of the storms.
We have a mighty God, because I don't know how they survived that. When I look, I'm just wowed.
Cars picked up and scattered. These 18-wheelers pushed over on their side. Power lines and this tower snapped. Trees splintered, some pulled from their roots.
Trees are down and it just looked really bad.
And there's concern it could get even worse. Forecasters warning the same region could be in for another round of severe weather through the evening. Jay Gray, NBC News.
Continuing our weather theme here, we're watching the storms rolling through this area this afternoon. Some of it severe. Brand new video showing the heavy thunderstorms hitting Rock Hill today. You can see the trees blowing pretty good there and lots of rain coming down. This is along Highway 21 right over near I-77. We've received reports of trees coming down in York County as well.
Yeah, Brad Panovich is tracking this for us tonight. So where are you pinpointing the worst of it right now, Brad?
You know, it's pretty much right over us and pushing east. So it's this line of storms. And the good news, I can tell you, this is going to be the only line we really have to watch for tonight. You can see the leading edge of it pushing to the east. It has prompted several severe thunderstorm warnings. And this cell in particular, it's right over Waxhaw, Weddington, Mineral Springs, all the way up to Ballantyne and about up to Matthews. So it's in that western section there of Union County. Very strong winds, likely some large hail as well, but we're also seeing strong storms in northern parts of Stanley County, stretching down into Cabarrus County, a lot of cloud to ground lightning. But look at that right there. You see that big cluster of lightning strikes. Now, the plus signs are positively charged lightning. The regular lightning strikes are what we call negative charge. About 90% are usually negative. When there's an uptick in positive strikes, it usually means we're getting some ice crystals in the top of the storm. So that's a developing updraft, likely a sign of severe storms, maybe even some hail. And you can see some of the winds in here. These brighter kind of orangish yellows are away from from the radar. So these are pushing this direction. The radar would be behind me back in the upstate of South Carolina, pushing out at around 50 to 60 miles per hour. That's enough to bring down trees and power lines. That's why we have the severe thunderstorm warning. So we'll keep an eye on that because it's continuing to move to the east. And again, that whole line is going to be moving and affecting these cities over the next 25 to 30 minutes. So keep the kids indoors, stay inside until that passes. The good news is it's moving fairly quickly. There is still rain back here, but this is non-severe rain back here as it pushes through. Now, severe risk, the whole area is under that low risk, but there's a few spots, especially where the air is warmer to the south, medium, and then up into Virginia where we've had a little bit more instability. Now, tomorrow, as the whole system pushes east, we'll see that risk push off to the east, and we'll start to see better weather movement. And by Thursday, no storms in the forecast. So better weather is ahead. Tonight, though, scattered showers and storms could linger for a while, but eventually they'll taper off fairly quickly after midnight tonight as we fall back into the 60s. You can see severe thunderstorm watches to our north and south, but no watches over us. The ingredients are still there. We possibly could have had a severe thunderstorm watch, but at this point, I think you're not going to see that issued. You can see how quickly it moves through, but some lingering showers until the wee hours of the morning. But once the front pushes through tomorrow morning, we should see things dry out fairly quickly. In fact, really a nice stretch of weather once we get beyond tomorrow morning. There's the front. It could kick off a few stray storms tomorrow afternoon as it pushes through, and then some clouds on Friday. But for the most part, it's going to be much drier and much cooler for the next couple of days. We'll keep a 20% chance for tomorrow, but dry and cool weather moving in before the storm chances return next week. Now, it's still muggy tomorrow ahead of that front, so 62-degree dew point, but look how dry the air is. So a much more comfortable air mass moves in once we get beyond these storms. Tomorrow, we'll see temperatures in the 60s with that northwest wind blowing in drier air. Still should make it to 80, though, across the Unifor region. Down here in the Piedmont, probably low to mid 80s, so a pretty warm day tomorrow before the front clears out and kind of moves all this hot, humid air out of the region. The Wells Fargo Championship could not have asked for better weather. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we're looking dry. Nice day for Mother's Day. I expect temperatures maybe in the low 80s with lots of sunshine.
All right, Brad, thanks. Coming up, we're always asking, where's the money? Well, the first of its kind infantry squad vehicle is going to be made in Concord. We'll tell you what that means for jobs in the area if you need one. And a North Carolina man who nearly drowned. Now he says he's drowning in medical bills. We'll talk more about that coming up.
And we're never very far away from our weather coverage today. We're giving you a live look outside right now. Our Chevy Storm Tracker is trucking along. Keep you posted.
WCNC Charlotte.
Here's a live look outside right now. Some of the rain moving through the area. This is from our view cam in Uptown Charlotte. Brad's going to be along in just a minute with an updated forecast for you.
Right now, though, we'll talk about our U-Day moment. You know, sometimes the smallest things hold our big lives back. So today on U-Day, Coach Lamont helps us to recognize those little things getting in our way and shows us how to break free from their grip.
A man passing by a herd of elephants was shocked when he noticed that these huge creatures were being held by a small rope tied to their front leg. Now, we know it's obvious that at any time these elephants could break free, but they didn't. Asking the trainer why these animals made no attempt to get away, the trainer replied, "When they were young and much smaller, we used the same size rope to tie them. And at that age, it's enough to hold them in place. As they grew up, they are conditioned to believe that the rope can still hold them, so they never make an attempt to break free." Now, I declare over your life that the small things that once held you down will no longer hold you powerless. Never again will you become conditioned to anything. This is a new season over your life, so break free and live. This is Coach Lamont reminding you to have your best U-Day. I'll see you tomorrow.
And tomorrow on U-Day, Coach reminds us as the big power of little habits continue to work, they will move our lives forward and we'll be able to get unimaginable results. Still to come today, a new facility producing infantry squad vehicles for the Army opens in Concord. We'll give you a sneak peek at what they're doing and what this means for the local economy.
And a North Carolina man's near-death experience. They were able to save 2 lives, but a rescuer died in the process. How he's remembering the woman who called him into action on that fateful day. And here's another live look at the first warn Doppler radar as severe weather moving through the area. Union County, get ready. Brad says it's going to be a little rough going there for the next probably 30 to 40 minutes. He'll have more when we come back.
Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed.
raffle across the Carolinas. Where's the money? WCNC Charlotte.
Now at 4:30, we are tracking the severe weather moving through the area right now. On the left, the first warn Doppler radar lighting up in a bunch of different colors. On the right, a live look outside the Chevy Storm Tracker. Brad's going to have the forecast coming up for you in less than 60 seconds.
And check this out. We've got a bit of a time lapse to show you, courtesy of our view cam in Uptown Charlotte. And so you can see there the clouds and the storms rolling through Uptown over the past few hours. I was getting some text messages from home going, oh, it's looking a little dicey out here. But we're covering it all for you. We're glad that you could be with us. I'm Vanessa Rufus.
Yeah, and I'm Bill McGinty. We appreciate you being here. Let's get right over to meteorologist Brad Panovich talking about who's going to see what and when, Brad. That's what everybody wants to know.
Yeah, this line is just marching across the area, and it's the leading edge that's the problem, guys. The rain behind it is actually much needed, but if you're anywhere along or just ahead of the line, that's where we have the severe thunderstorm warning. Still have a very strong storm. In fact, it's got 60-mile-an-hour winds heading towards Monroe, Unionville, and Marshville. This extends down into Chesterfield County and Lancaster County along Highway 9 as you go back into Chester County. You can see that cluster of severe thunderstorm warnings. Look at the movement here. And you notice how these little arcing segments, they look like little bow echoes. Those are all producing strong winds as they move off to the east. So these warnings are up until about 4:45. But also some really heavy rain in northern parts of Stanley County, maybe some small hail, still some rain falling behind the system. We've got a lot of home openers tonight for some of the baseball games. And I think we're going to have a pretty good time of getting this rain out of here, maybe just in time for that first pitch. 40 and 50-mile-per-hour winds moving through parts of Union County. Here's what I'm talking about. The back edge is already showing up to the west, but this leading edge, as it pushes towards the east, you can see all of the cities in the path of this as it moves along 74 out towards the Sandhills through the next hour or so. There's the line. Severe storms all along the leading edge, but behind it, some lingering showers. We have seen quite a bit of rain out there this afternoon. For more on what's going on out there, let's head out to meteorologist Aisha Scott. She is live in the Chevy Storm Tracker. Aisha.
All right, we're on 77 northbound. We're actually heading towards Mecklenburg County, so just passing Rock Hill. So let me show you 77 here because it is pretty quiet. We're kind of in a lull right now. So the rain has stopped, at least where I am, but the rain will continue to pick up as we continue to move north on 77. Now, I have been seeing some ponding or some puddling on the road, so just a heads up, be careful if you do have to travel this evening because while it may not be raining, we're still seeing some of that water build up on the side of the road. And also don't forget those exit ramps as well and those entrance ramps. We're seeing some water piling up there. So I'll keep you posted on the roads on what's going on. Reporting live in the Chevy Storm Tracker, I'm meteorologist Aisha Scott. I'll send it back to you in the studio.
Aisha, thank you. And our newsroom is keeping an eye on the impacts as well. We are just getting word that Indian Land High School is going to hold off on releasing students until the weather conditions are a bit more favorable and safer to do so. So we'll keep you posted on that situation. Meantime, we're also hearing trees are down in the York County area. They are taking out some power lines. Have a look here at Highway 321 at Eves Way in York. Power crews on the scene there trying to repair that line. And speaking of trying to repair some lines, we know that those crews are going to be pretty busy. There are around 1,000 people in York County without power. You could see here on the Duke Energy map, the outage map. This map just updating, showing now 3,000 outages in the Matthews Mint Hill area and another 3,000 in northeast Charlotte. So we'll continue to monitor this as well and keep you updated. Make sure, though, in the meantime, that you stay connected during severe weather. WCNC Charlotte always online with the WCNC News app. Very important if you lose power. Download it for free right now.
Well, it's an exciting day in Concord. GM Defense is officially opening up a new facility, and they will produce infantry squad vehicles for the Army. WCNC Charlotte's Lana Harris got a behind-the-scenes look, even getting to hitch a ride in one of the new squad vehicles. She's now joining us from the facility.
Afternoon, everybody. Yeah, these are it right here behind me, and get a good look. These are the first ones like this in the country. They're using parts that would ordinarily go in commercial cars like this Chevrolet truck. It's actually based off of this Chevrolet truck, and they say it's going to be more efficient to make to get these out to the battlefield for our soldiers.
But today it's a really exciting day for us. We're
we're opening up this facility now where we're going to build the Army's infantry squad vehicle.
Steve Dumont, the president of GM Defense, says this is the country's first look.
And these are the first vehicles now just rolling off out of our new production facility that we have here.
The facility is located in Concord and in 90 days went from an empty room to fully functioning, cranking out military infantry squad vehicles that are 90% commercial parts.
The basic platform for the vehicles you see behind us is that Colorado platform right over there, the ZR2.
Senator Tom Tillis says that's a big deal.
One of the big challenges you have with a number of the platforms we have in the DoD is they're highly customized. Supply chains are more difficult, they're more costly to maintain and repair, particularly on the battlefield.
Tillis says GM Defense's vehicle will cut through those issues.
Produces more lethality, more capability on the battlefield sooner at a lower taxpayer cost.
That was awesome.
North Carolina Congressman Richard Hudson took a few spins himself. He says he's excited this community gets to be a part of equipping America's soldiers.
Our warfighters are going to get a vehicle like this, of this quality, at a deal for the taxpayers. It's going to help our warfighters do their job better and come home safely.
Now, as they continue to grow and expand, GM Defense believes they'll also be able to add more jobs to the area as well. Here in Concord, I'm Lana Harris, WCNC Charlotte.
Well, still to come here, a Rip Current survivor talking about his heroic actions and remembering another hero who gave her life for others. And how would you like to try a bottle of wine that's out of this world? Literally. Oh, yeah. We'll tell you how much it's valued.
I'll be in on that, too.
Yeah,
All right, we're live at Truist Field in Uptown Charlotte this afternoon where the Knights, they're getting ready for the home opener. Doesn't look too great of a day for that, but you know what?
Tarp out.
Yeah, they got the tarp out, but baseball's going to play anyway.
Next wheel, it's a one-letter solve. Julie.
Making up for lost time.
Being a bride in 2020 into 2021, I am ready to get it over with.
We'll take a look at what it takes to tie the knot. Where's the money? Wednesday at 11 on WCNC Charlotte.
So have you ever had wine that's out of this world, at least in your mind anyway? Well, this bottle we're about to show you literally was out of the world. The price, appropriately stratospheric. Christie says it is selling this bottle of French wine that spent more than a year aboard the International Space Station. The auction house thinks the wine connoisseur might pay as much as $1 million to own it. It's a Petrus 2000. They say it's one of the 12 bottles sent into space back in November 2019 by researchers who were exploring the potential of growing things in space. It returned 14 months later, subtly altered, they say, subtly, mind you. According to wine experts who have sampled at least some of it anyway at a tasting in France, they say several other bottles from that dozen went into space. They remain unopened, but Christie says there are no plans to sell any of them. So I guess maybe they're selling one bottle for $1 million. Come on.
That's amazing. Subtly altered. I mean, is this like the notes slightly changed, or like are we talking like Fantastic Four, like radiation subtly altered?
I don't know. $1 million. I guess whoever buys it can find out and post it on.
Yeah, let us know.
Post it on the internet.
Gosh, I'd love to try it myself. All right. Well, we know it is opening day for the Charlotte Knights. Oh, it's been more than a year since fans have watched a home game in the seats at Truist Field. We got a live report coming up.
And maybe some good news. There is some rain over us right now, but this is moving fairly quickly. Hopefully we can get this out of here in the next hour or so and get those games in. I'll have the latest forecast track when we return.
Check out my new mini munchies with mac and cheese bites.
CNC Charlotte.
Here's a look at what's coming up on the news today at 5. Fred Shropshire over in the newsroom with a preview. Hi, Fred.
Hey there, Bill. Yeah, we are staying on top of severe thunderstorms rolling through our area this evening. We're seeing heavy rain creating dangerous conditions out on the roads. Our First Warn Storm team will have team coverage, including live updates from our Chevy Storm Tracker. Plus, making schools safer. The FDA could soon approve a COVID vaccine shot for kids 12 to 15. We're talking to local districts about what that could mean. And COVID precautions, a major part of Charlotte-Mecklenburg Schools' upcoming budget. We are taking a closer look at what district leaders are prioritizing. We'll have those stories and much more coming up at 5 here on WCNC Charlotte. Bill?
All right, Fred, thank you. Well, at this very moment, the Charlotte Knights are gearing up for their first home game in almost 2 years. WCNC Charlotte's sports director Nick Carboni joining us live now from Truist Field in Uptown. Nick, sort of feels like 2020. I mean, the first game in 2 years and it's tarped.
You know, I really hope they play a game tonight. It has been 615 days since the Knights took the field here. August 28th, 2019 was their very last game. I hope we don't have to make it 616 as we step out and look at the field. Not only is this one of the best ballparks in America here in Uptown, it's also one of the most well taken care of baseball fields. So hopefully it can sustain all of this rain tonight. It's still coming down just a little bit, although the severe stuff seems to have passed for now. It's been a dormant ballpark in terms of pro baseball for the last 18 months. And this franchise, this team has taken a big hit. They set up a charity to try to help some of the workers actually be able to take home some income since they weren't working games. So for everybody involved, they can't wait to get back, whether it's tonight or tomorrow.
You know, we're excited. Certainly. This has been a long time coming. I had a wonderful staff that's been very patient through this. Season ticket holders and sponsors. Didn't know if this day would come. Great to see activity in a ballpark that's been fairly quiet for the last year and a half.
Yeah, they've had to withstand so much around here for the last year and a half, so a little weather isn't going to hurt them too bad, but they really want to get on the field tonight, and so does their new manager. I say new. Wes Helms from Gastonia was hired almost 2 years ago now. He will hopefully take the field for the first time near his home city tonight. First pitch is still scheduled for 7:04, and we'll keep you posted. If tonight's game does get rained out and you had a ticket to a Knights game is good for any Knights game dependent on availability, so you can always come for one of the next home games over the next 2 weeks if you want. But they're glad baseball is back here in Uptown. We'll have much more next hour. Back to you.
All right, Nick, thanks a lot. Of all the things that I'm eager to see open again, baseball is certainly one of them in that park. Thanks.
I know, me too. I haven't had a chance to experience it yet.
Yeah, it's so nice.
Before the pandemic.
So nice. Here's another nice one.
I know. This is going to be a great one to check out as well. It's also opening night for the Kannapolis Cannonballers in their new Atrium Health Ballpark. The minor league team will take on the Down East Wood Ducks at 7 tonight. The game is sold out and will have about 2,500 fans in attendance. And so on that note, let's turn our attention to the weather this afternoon. Brad, it's never a good sign when you see the tarp on a baseball field, but I hope that they can still play.
Yeah, the good news is those tarps are on right now should help them actually clear out. You can see the rain across the area. If they can keep the field dry now and this rain moves out by, let's say, 6:37, maybe a small delay, and we can get the fields dried out. You see the worst of the rain is actually pushed east of Kannapolis and Charlotte, but it's still raining in many locations, so that's the problem. You could see on Futurecast, we've got some heavy rain out there right now. Let me show you again here on First Warn Doppler radar. We'll show you. I don't know why it keeps jumping around on me there. We're trying to show you the radar first here before we get to the heavy rainfall, which is moving through the area. Let's try this again. The computer is not happy with that rainfall. There we go. There's a look at the radar. We'll go in a little bit closer and show you in Uptown. You can see the worst of it is actually pushed east of Charlotte. We still got some heavy rain here heading up towards Kannapolis. Still some pockets of heavy rain. But if you look back to the northwest, there's actually some breaks developing. So the lightning and severe threat is mainly along the leading edge of this. So severe thunderstorm warning still in effect for Chesterfield County and Lancaster County until about maybe another 30 minutes or so. I think we'll see that one allowed to expire on time. But there's still some pockets of heavy rain in Union County and then down into York and Chester. Now what we're watching is the back edge of this. There's still light rain across the foothills and into areas of Cleveland and Gaston County, but that's moving through fairly quickly. If we can get this out of here, things should improve later this evening. Now I do expect some delays for those games, so I would take my time getting to into the ballpark, because overnight we do expect some scattered showers to continue, but nothing like we have right now. And by tomorrow, we should be all clear as all this mess moves out of the region. Severe weather risk is low right now, but as you go to the east, I think that threat is going to increase. And tomorrow, because the front is pushing east, we'll see a low risk shift off into central and eastern North Carolina and down towards the South Carolina low country. But by Thursday, it's all gone. We've got clear skies and cooler air moving in. Here's a look at that surface map. You see the clusters of showers moving out. Here's the main front, arrives sometime early tomorrow. The winds will shift around to the north. You will notice a drop in the dew points, but also a dramatic cool down. In fact, the only chance of rain tomorrow is going to be primarily in the early morning hours with clearing skies. But then next week, we'll see those scattered thunderstorm chances creep back up. Dew points were muggy today. It was super sticky out there. It'll be sticky again tomorrow. But look at the drop in dew points back into the 40s. Should feel comfortable around here once we get beyond tomorrow's cold front. So tomorrow we will still see a scattered shower. Temperatures generally in the 60s. As you move down in elevation, down across the foothills, upper 70s to about 80 degrees. And again, any rain is going to be early in the day. Lower to mid 80s just because it's going to take a while for that front to sweep this humid air mass out of here. But eventually, skies will clear and a beautiful stretch of weather. Wells Fargo Championship, all 4 rounds right now looking dry, but kind of coolish, especially in the mornings. Highs will be in the 70s, but then on Sunday for Mother's Day, beautiful day for mom with high temperatures around 81.
Yeah, looks good. Brad, thank you. All right, check this video out here. The Irish president's puppy competing, oh my goodness, for his owner's attention with some friendly nudges and nibbles during a national interview. In a video shared to his TikTok, the president's hand we could see there getting a little nibble, a little playful Bernese Mountain Dog puppy, Miss Nietzsche, they're trying to get some attention. The puppy also seen pawing at the president for attention, who just smoothly continued to make his speech.
Well, the takeaway certainly for any politician is if you want to deflect attention on any topic, take a dog to the press conference.
I've seen it done before. Didn't work. In that case.
Yeah, in that case anyway. Up next, hear the harrowing tale of a Rip Current survivor as he recounts his near-death experience. We're talking about that when we come back.
Hey, it's time also to get those next round of Hometown Heroes nominations in. The Charlotte area Hyundai dealers and WCNC Charlotte want to say thank you to all of us teachers out there for navigating such a difficult year. And right now we are looking for a superlative teacher. We know the stress level is high, the resources tight, many teachers toggling between remote and in-person learning. So let us know which educator deserves to win a 2021 Hyundai Santa Fe for all the work that they are doing. Just go to WCNC.com/hometownhero to get your nomination in.
What's a Depend-worthy?
It's a place promising no...
nothing could have prepared them for teaching during the pandemic. The stress level is high. Teachers are juggling remote and in-person learning. Your Charlotte area Hyundai dealers and WCNC Charlotte want to say thank you for navigating such a difficult year. One deserving teacher will win a 2021 Hyundai Santa Fe. Go to WCNC.com/hometown hero to nominate a local teacher for the Hyundai Hometown Heroes giveaway.
Finally here at 4:30, it's been 3 weeks since a teacher died while trying to save children who were trapped in a rip current. This all happened down near Wilmington. Now we're hearing from somebody else who nearly died saving those children that day. Ellie Cosgrove has more.
Antonio Burns returns to the sand and watches the waves at Curie Beach, the very water that nearly took his life. Now 2 weeks since he helped save 2 girls from a deadly rip current, the memories of the tragic afternoon crash over him.
I distinctly remember those little girls walking right past us, happy. They were smiling, cheesing, happy.
Then, in the blink of an eye, it all changed.
I just started hearing the screams, and the screams began to sound not like playful screams. You know, it sounded like horror, like they were in trouble.
Running towards the water, Burns had a decision to make. His life or theirs. A decision made a little easier with the inspiration of Jessica Embry, a beloved Ashley High School teacher.
Miss Embry looked dead at me. We didn't know each other from a can of paint. She was just like, you get that girl, I got this girl.
He had his doubts. How could you not? But Embry gave him the confidence he needed.
I don't know what she's seen in my eyes, but it was like if my mama told me to do something. It wasn't no way I could have said no. Especially with me being a father, this lady believed in me. So I put all the rest of the faith in myself. Put it all on the line just like she did.
But then reality hit. The current had pulled them 50 yards offshore, with waves pounding down, pushing everyone to the brink.
The waves was covering Miss Emery. You can't see nothing but the wrist on Miss Emery, and you see the grip getting tighter on the girl. And you can really barely see her face. You can really just see this part of the girl, like you could tell her head above water, and Miss Emery just holding her.
That's when things started to go dark. Burns was dying while saving a life.
I never had a near-death experience before in my life, but I definitely felt death kissed me on the lips.
Burns's near-lifeless body was pulled from the water as first responders desperately tried to save him. He eventually spent 4 days in the hospital, some of them on life support, leaving him with mounds of medical bills. But it's not about the debt for him.
A life is priceless, especially 2 little girls.
It was in the hospital that he learned the girls survived, but the woman who gave him the push to save them didn't make it out alive.
I still don't even look at myself like a hero just because I wasn't able to save my fellow soldier that was in the field with me. I think I felt more like a hero if it came out that way.
But that's what Burns is as he returns to Curie Beach for the first time. A lifesaver, yet one that is haunted by his heroics.
Most of the times I feel like I'm still under the water. I still hear screams. I hear a lot of screams.
Well, a fundraiser has been started on Facebook for him as he works to pay off, get this, nearly $25,000 worth of medical bills. Fred?
Thank you. First here at 5, a second round of severe weather rolling through the Charlotte area. You can see the changes over the last couple of hours on our Uptown view camera. Right now, we are tracking strong thunderstorms and even the chance for an isolated tornado. Team coverage from our first warned storm team just seconds away. With that, we thank you for joining us here at 5. I'm Fred Shropshire.
And I'm Sarah French. Another round of strong thunderstorms bringing heavy rain and winds. Here's a live look outside right now at Uptown Charlotte. The worst of the system expected to last at least another hour in the Charlotte metro area.
Here's a look at the conditions we are seeing across the area. This is in Rock Hill. You can see water ponding on roads and spraying from underneath those vehicles. Be careful if you have to be out on the roads, by the way. The falling trees in the area also a hazard. The sheriff's office responded to a tree bringing down power lines in York County. This is on Highway 321 bypass at Eves Way. Power crews are on scene working to remove the tree and repair the line. Right now you can see thousands of people are without power in the Charlotte area. The worst hit areas near Matthews, Harrisburg, Concord, and York.
So let's bring in Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich now. Brad, you said earlier the ingredients are all there for a repeat of what we saw yesterday.
Yeah, the good news is the worst of it is now pushing to the east. So the rain over Charlotte's going to last a little bit longer, but it's really the leading edge is the severe area. The severe, all clear from severe is basically behind this line. Let me kind of show you the leading edge of this. So Wadesboro, Rockingham, Chesterfield, heads up. The worst of the storms are heading your way. The strongest storm right now and the only severe thunderstorm warning we have is currently for Chesterfield and Lancaster counties. This storm really means business. A lot of cloud to ground lightning and very strong winds. This is actually moving a little bit more northeast, so this could sneak up into southeastern Union and eventually move into Anson County. Now over Charlotte and most of the metro, it's still raining pretty well out there, but there is no severe weather associated with this rain, just a really nice steady rain, which is actually what we need. The back edge though, beginning to enter the mountains. It will be a while before we dry out completely. I think you're looking at something closer to 7 o'clock before we start to see some breaks. Now there is a new severe thunderstorm watch which has just been issued for areas ahead of this line. So everywhere west, you're in the clear from severe. Ahead of this, though, we still have the potential for severe storms in Anson, Stanley, Richmond, and Chesterfield County. This watch is up till 9 p.m., but these storms will not last that long. Probably going to see them last through about 7 p.m. Coming up, I'll track those storms and let you know where they're heading next. But for more on what's going on in the roads, let's head out to the Chevy Storm Tracker and meteorologist Aisha Scott.
You know, Brad, we are at times at a standstill on 485. So let me show you the roads here. So we're on 485. We just went through Pineville. We're coming up on Ballantyne. We're on the outer loop. And boy, we have been really stopping and going at this point because the rain has been coming down heavily at times, and then it will slow up a little bit, and then it comes down heavy once again. So we're kind of sort of in and out of traffic, if you will. But cars are certainly stopping right now. We've been seeing some of the ponding and the puddling on the side of the road. So just be careful if you are about to get on the interstate or maybe you're getting off the interstate. Also, if you don't have to travel this evening, obviously the rain creating some heavier traffic. So if you don't have to travel, just stay indoors. If you do, certainly add some extra time to your commute because you're going to run into traffic across the area with the widespread rain that we're dealing with right now. Certainly well-needed rain. We actually picked up just under 1/4 of an inch of rain at the time that the report came out. So it's much needed rain, but again, it's causing some issues on the roads and certainly will for the rest of the evening. So just use extra caution and be careful if you do have to travel this evening. Reporting live in the Chevy Storm Tracker, I'm meteorologist Aisha Scott. I'll send it back to you in the studio.
Aisha, thank you. The severe weather tonight coming just 24 hours after a possible tornado hit York County. This is drone video of the intense damage done to a farm in Clover. We heard from a homeowner who described the moments when the storm hit.
That's when I saw the turkey barns just explode at that point. So then I just ran and got into a closet.
Robbie told us 2 turkey barns were destroyed and numerous other barns damaged with roofs torn off. For live Doppler radar and Brad's latest updates, download the WCNC Charlotte mobile app and scroll to the weather section. It's free in your app store.
Over the last week or so, we've seen vaccination rates slowing down. At this point, supply is really outpacing demand for the shot, but health experts say we are not out of the woods. Many more people still need to choose to get vaccinated. There's some hope for that. There are reports the FDA could soon authorize emergency use of the Pfizer vaccine in kids ages 12 to 15. WCNC Charlotte's Chloe Leshner is at Randolph Middle School in South Charlotte with more on this. Chloe, a hopeful sign for schools being even safer next fall.
We know there are real benefits to kids being inside of the classroom. In its trials, Pfizer found that the vaccine is even more effective in this age group than it is in adults, and having another population vaccinated helps get all of us out of this pandemic. school could be a bit safer by the fall. 12 to 15-year-olds likely the next population to be given the COVID vaccine.
We vaccinate children for a whole host of infectious diseases, and we've done so for many decades with great success.
Wow. The timing is right. According to the American Academy of Pediatrics, kids make up 22% of all new COVID cases in the last week. It's showing in some of our local school districts.
Already seeing a tick upward among our students becoming testing positive and then in turn having to be quarantined or isolated.
Part of that is because more and more adults have the protection of the vaccine. This would not only put many families and teachers at ease, but can help inch us closer to herd immunity.
Every arm we get this into and every group that gets vaccinated, we will get closer to that number. And so I'm excited for that.
But there are the same concerns we heard from many about how quickly these vaccines were developed. In reality, the science has been around for some time, and because of the desperate need to combat the virus, the resources were available to get it done.
They're not in the business of putting stuff out there willy-nilly and hoping it works. That's just not the way it happens.
Rock Hill schools are not requiring, but recommending that students 16 and older consider getting vaccinated. They also have a really high population of teachers and staff members who are vaccinated. We'll take a look at those numbers and see how they stack up against other school districts coming up at 6. In South Charlotte, Chloe Leschner, WCNC Charlotte.
Chloe, thank you. President Biden today set a new target for vaccinating America this summer. He's hoping to have 70% of adults with at least one shot and 160 million Americans fully vaccinated by the 4th of July. To get there, he's vowing to broaden access to vaccines, especially in hard-to-reach communities.
Walk into your local pharmacy without an appointment. Go to the doctor or a local health clinic. It's free. It's nearby. Every adult is eligible.
Several states from Florida to New York are already loosening or dropping COVID restrictions, just as the number of vaccinations is dropping nationwide. The White House now planning to start freeing up doses from states that don't use their full weekly supply to go to those with high demand.
New at 5, the Mecklenburg County Board of Commissioners is taking a closer look at the CMS budget for next school year. The budget maps out how COVID relief funding will be used and how it will benefit students. WCNC Charlotte's Kendall Morris breaks it down.
This budget includes much more than usual due to the pandemic, but it makes it clear that the district is trying to catch students up in the classroom after a different kind of year of learning.
We are not where we were 2 years ago. Students have suffered during this pandemic, and we must make up ground.
It's the message CMS Superintendent Ernest Winston laid out to the Board of County Commissioners in detailing the district budget. About 50,000 students within the district are considered academically at risk. The opportunity gaps for Black and Brown students that existed before the pandemic have only widened due to the pandemic. And higher numbers of students are struggling with social and emotional issues. It's why CMS plans to use COVID relief funds to address the needs created by the COVID-19 pandemic, investing in things like a summer program to catch students up academically, technology to upgrade old Chromebooks, and health and safety protocol to prevent and reduce the spread of COVID-19.
This is possibly the highest stakes budget request that we have ever brought to you.
The CMS Board of Education is seeking to give students what they need to get back on track. There was also some confusion about a $2.1 million line item for security enhancements. Now, this was unintentionally left out of the presentation when the school board initially approved the budget, but then the situation was rectified to include the security enhancement line item this morning at an emergency meeting. In Uptown, Kendall Morris, WCNC Charlotte.
All right, Kendall, thank you. Now for the latest on a major traffic headache. Work on the I-77 Catawba River Bridge project is about to get underway on Thursday. It'll have a big impact on drivers because of the limited routes to get over the Catawba River. WCNC Charlotte's Tanya Mendez has the very latest.
Well, there's already proof of the work that's about to get underway in the next 2 days. If you look behind me, you can see a lot of the equipment has started to stage here at exit 83. And with 120,000 cars that pass down that highway and this stretch of road every day, this is going to be a major headache for a lot of people. 17 days of pain begin Thursday for drivers between Charlotte and Rock Hill.
It's going to be rough. Traffic accidents going to be backed up. It's just going to be rough on everybody.
The work on the Catawba River Bridge deck replacement about to get underway. As lanes are shut down and traffic shifts, heavy backups are expected on both the highway and the main roads in town. Sutton, Cherry, and here on Celanese, where drivers say traffic is already bad.
I don't know why they call it a rush. It's a log jam.
With 120,000 cars potentially looking for alternative routes.
I believe the Lord Jesus Christ would have to come on the second advent to straighten everything out.
There may not be the second coming, but there will be eyes in the sky. This real-time regional traffic management center will be providing updates on travel times, planning to adjust the timing of the traffic lights on the roads near the exits when the backups get thick, putting additional law enforcement on patrol, a tow truck on standby, and the contractor on notice.
So we've got $10,000 per hour if the contractor's late. And
with no room for error,
there's no buffer now.
The equipment is already in position. Crews will be working 24 hours a day, 12 on, 12 off, staying at a hotel nearby. Everyone COVID tested. Drivers hoping the price of progress will be worth it.
Once we get through the inconvenience, it's going to be a lot better.
This work is scheduled to end in 17 days, and the pressure is on for the workers to complete it in time, because otherwise you're running right up against the opening of Carowinds and also Memorial Day weekend. Reporting in York County, I'm Tanya Mendes, WCNC Charlotte.
Well, today marks 2 years since the death of Mooresville K-9 officer Jordan Sheldon. Officer Sheldon was shot and killed during a traffic stop in 2019. He will be honored during a ceremony on Thursday. It will be live streamed on the North Carolina Justice Academy's YouTube page. Matthews police searching for a shoplifter who they say threatened Kohl's store employees with a gun. This happened yesterday around 5 o'clock at the store on East Independence Boulevard. No shots were fired. Officers have identified the suspect as Yolanda Cunningham. 3 warrants have been issued for her arrest. If you know her whereabouts, call 911. Coming up, it's opening day for Charlotte Knights. You're taking a live look at Truist Field, where fans are getting ready for the first game in nearly a year and a half. We'll have much more on the excitement and what's different for fans and the team.
And we still have severe thunderstorm warnings for parts of Chesterfield and Lancaster County. These are up until 6 p.m. this evening. Damaging winds, small hail, and a lot of cloud to ground lightning coming up. I'll show you when the worst is going to move through and when things will dry out.
into Wednesday, another chance of rain and storms, then much cooler weather moves in on Thursday. It's all tomorrow morning. You can see the difference right here starting at 4:30 on Wake Up Charlotte and always on Roku and Fire TV.
A traffic alert as we continue to track storms across our area. Matthews Police says traffic lights are out at East Independence Boulevard and Matthews Min Hill Road. This is a busy area, so if you are headed that way, you can expect some delays.
Right now, the Charlotte Knights are getting ready for their first game at Truist Field in more than 600 days.
Wow, the Knights season, of course, was canceled last year due to the pandemic, and now a limited number of fans can return to see them play.
Sports director Nick Carboni joins us live from Truist Field. Nick, the last time fans got to see a game, the ballpark was named something else. But the weather could throw a wrench in their plans tonight.
Yeah, well, right now, Fred and Sarah, the game is scheduled to start at 7:04, but I hate to say it, if this rain keeps coming down like it has been for the past few hours, I know they've got the tarp out. I know it's one of the best baseball fields in America. It's going to be tough to play tonight or to start on time, but we're still going to hold out hope because it's been 615 days since this team took the field. In that time, they've renamed the ballpark to Truist Field, and they got a new manager, Wes Helms, who couldn't manage his team last year, and he'd love to take the field in Charlotte tonight. He's a native of Gastonia.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Things we can't control, but we're finally getting there. Big League's got on board, and now minor league's getting started. I mean, this is what we need as baseball players. It's what the fans need. The city needs it. I mean, this is on our way back to bringing the game that everybody loves back to the city of Charlotte.
Please. Of course, as soon as that soundbite rolled, guess what happened? It thundered here in Uptown. So we're going to hope that it comes through and finishes up so we can get this ball game started on time. That buzz that we remember at the ballpark is building right now. They're setting up the concessions. Folks that work here are starting to come in. Gates are supposed to open at 6. A reminder, if they can't play tonight, you can use your ticket for any Knights game this year, depending on availability. I'll just call the box office before you show up, but hopefully it's tonight. We'll send it back to you.
I know it's such a beautiful field, too. Let's hope we see a game tonight. Thank you, Nick.
Yeah.
Of course, it's also opening night for the Kannapolis Cannonballers and their new Atrium Health Ballpark. The minor league team will take on the Down East Wood Ducks at 7 tonight. The game is sold out and will have about 2,500 fans in attendance.
Well, the big question ahead of these games, will the weather cooperate? Yeah. Right now, we are tracking heavy rain and storms across our area. Brad, could rain be coming down still by first pitch?
Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like we're going to be dealing with this for a while here. But here's the good news. I will tell you this. I think the worst of it is going to be out of here within the next hour or so. And maybe by 7 o'clock, they might be able to start pulling the tarp off. So it certainly looks like we're going to see delays for these games. But hold off on not going uptown because there's a good chance it just might be delayed a little bit because later we get into the evening, the further east these storms get. I've been watching this storm right here, and I'm going to step over to the radar here in a second because I want to show you something how impressive the wind speeds are in that storm, which is moving into parts of central Chesterfield County. It's just been incredible the amount of wind that we've seen. See this area around Bethune, which is right there? I'm going to turn off the lightning because we don't really need to see the lightning there to show you how strong these winds are. Look at these 75 to 80 mile per hour winds heading towards McBee, which is there in the southwest corner of Chesterfield County. So that is some really strong winds. That's EF0 type tornado winds. And remember, wind is wind. We get caught up in whether it's rotating or not. Look how big that area of strong winds in. A tornado would be really tiny. This is a damaging wind gust or downburst that's pushing into areas of southern Chesterfield, Darlington, Marlborough County. So just a heads up down there, this is going to be a very nasty storm as it pushes to the east. Once that leading edge gets out of here, the rain begins to break up a little bit. So it's still raining in Uptown. We're still getting some cloud to ground lightning, but look at the back edge. Now entering the foothills, we are starting to see some better weather roll in from the west, and I would expect that we will see at least some breaks develop, in that 8, 9, 10 o'clock time frame. Still a scattered storm around, but the chances are much lower overnight. Now, tomorrow looks to be a much better day. So no matter what happens tonight, we should have some great conditions tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, just a great stretch of weather, just a few clouds around, and dramatically cooler. Look at the cool down with the rain. Ahead of the rain, temperatures in the mid to upper 80s to near low 90s out towards the coast. But over the next couple of days, we're going to see a dip in temperatures. In fact, below average temperatures moving into the region. We'll be near 84 tomorrow, just ahead of the front, but then look at that, 69 for a high on Friday. By Mother's Day, I do expect temperatures back up around 80 degrees. Now tonight, showers should eventually move out. Tomorrow we'll start the day mostly dry with temperatures in the 60s. Down through the foothills, temperatures again around 80 degrees, so a warm day before that front moves in. Some low and maybe some mid 80s across the foothills and into the Piedmont. And again, this is all based on the timing of that front clearing us out, but we will see the cool conditions start to filter into the region tomorrow night as temperatures drop into the 50s. And look at that stretch of weather from Thursday to Sunday. Just beautiful conditions, mostly dry with more rain arriving for Monday into Tuesday.
Thank you, Brad. Coming up, a look at the latest COVID trends in North Carolina, what the numbers are telling us as we head towards summer.
And as we head to break, here's a live look out on the roads from our Chevy Storm Tracker. This is I-485 in Mecklenburg County near Ballantyne. You can see that rain just poured there. Roads are wet. Stay with us on air for updates on the severe weather. You can also find updates on our WCNC Charlotte mobile app.
So many times in my life where things were going great and then I get blindsided.
Don't miss the young.
Well, some positives to update in North Carolina's COVID metrics today. There are declines across the board as vaccinations continue to tick upward. Here's a look at the numbers. New cases today were down to 981. That is well below the 2-week average and the first time the state has dipped below 1,000 since April 6th. The percent positive was above 6% today. If you look at the 2-week average, that number is at 5.6% and has been steadily declining this month. At last check, 4 49.7% of adults in North Carolina have gotten at least one vaccine dose. That's 75% of the way to the state's 2/3 goal. However, you can see on this graph, weekly vaccinations have been plummeting since a high in early April.
Coronavirus variants are still a major concern in the U.S. And now experts say a third dose of the Pfizer vaccine will likely be needed within a year to fight them. Today, Pfizer's CEO talked about the company's plan to come up with a new vaccine to fight off certain variants. He said people will likely need a booster shot within 6 to 12 months of getting fully vaccinated.
If a single variant is identified that it is escaping the protection of our vaccine, we will be ready within 100 days from that day to be able to have quantities manufactured and the file submitted to regulatory authority.
Pfizer announced last month that its vaccine was more than 91% effective against COVID-19 and 95% effective against severe disease up to 6 months after the second dose. Back in Charlotte, the Ronald McDonald family room at Hempby Children's Hospital is now open. The family room looks more like a home than a hospital waiting room. It provides families a space where they can relax, prepare a meal, do their laundry, or even grab a snack. Ronald McDonald House of Charlotte staffs the family room. Once cleared to do so, they will offer programming to families, such as visits with therapy dogs and evening activities.
Ahead at 5:30, a manufacturing facility making vehicles for the U.S. Army opening up in Charlotte's backyard. We've got a behind-the-scenes look.
Plus, has the pandemic caused teacher shortages in the Carolinas? We're breaking down the numbers coming up at 5:55. And as we head to break, here's a live look out on the roads from our Chevy Storm Tracker. We're stuck in traffic now, I-485. This is in South Charlotte. Stay with us on air for updates on the severe weather. You can also find updates on our mobile app.
Get an 8-piece meal for just...
.30, we are tracking severe storms across the area. Our first warn radar lighting up this evening. We could see strong thunderstorms and even the chance for an isolated tornado in some areas. Our Chevy Storm Tracker on the roads will have team coverage in 30 seconds.
Plus, major investments and opportunities in the Charlotte area. We're getting a behind-the-scenes look at a new manufacturing facility making vehicles for the U.S. Army. We'll take you there in just a few minutes. Thanks for staying with us, everybody. I'm Sarah French.
And I'm Fred Shropshire. We begin at 5:30 with your first warn forecast. And we are tracking severe storms. Take a look at this video from Rock Hill where the rain was really coming down in the last hour or so and starting to pond on the roads.
Here's a look at our first warn Doppler radar. We could see heavy activity throughout the evening. Thousands of people are without power in the Charlotte area. The worst outages including more than 3,000 people in Matthews, 4,000 in Pineville and Ballantyne, and 3,000 by Mallard Church Creek Road. That's in University City. So for the latest on the storm threat, let's send it over to meteorologist Brad Panovich. Hey, Brad.
Hey, Sarah. Yeah, the good news is only 1 or 2 counties left with a severe threat this evening, and that includes most of Chesterfield County, parts of Anson, and Richmond County. Around the Charlotte area west, we're clear from severe as the worst is already past us. But from Wadesboro to Rockingham to Chesterfield to Patrick down towards McBee, this is the storm that is the most severe right now. And this is our only severe thunderstorm warning currently. We are seeing very strong straight line winds of 75, maybe even close to 80 miles per hour. This is going to cause damage to trees, power lines, roofs, could cause blowing debris. So just stay indoors, get towards the middle of your home until this storm passes. This isn't a tornado threat, but a straight line wind threat. But we still want to get you in the middle of the house because of these strong winds, picking up debris and throwing them towards your window. So very dangerous storm there moving through Chesterfield County. Back to the west, we've got some nice steady to moderate rain, which is what we need. We don't want to see the severe weather, but in Uptown, the rain's beginning to let up as the worst of this is starting to move out of the region. We're already past the worst of it from areas from the foothills back into the mountains as this whole line begins to push off to the south and east. We still have a couple counties under that severe thunderstorm watch. That includes Stanley, Anson, Richmond, and Chesterfield counties till 9 o'clock. But if those storms move out in the next hour, we will see those counties canceled out of it early. It's been a messy commute out there with just the rain alone. We're going to head out to the Chevy Storm Tracker and meteorologist Aisha Scott.
Yeah, that's right, Brad. You know, we're not really tracking too much in the way of storms, at least not in South Charlotte where I'm located, but it is coming down pretty heavily but steady at times. Let me show you here. This is 485. We're actually in between Pineville and Matthews, and so we're heading on 485, the outer loop. And, you know, typically around this time, especially along this stretch of 485, you'll run into rush hour traffic. But when you add in the rain, it just makes it just worse. And so keep in mind, there's also construction on this stretch of 485. So that also adds to the traffic as well. And then when you put rain on top of that, it just doesn't get any better. Now, again, as I've been mentioning throughout the evening, there have been some ponding and puddling on the roads. So just be careful. I've been seeing some people maybe taking it a little too quickly on some of those entrance ramps. So just be careful if you are about to head out the door and you do have to travel this evening. If you don't, obviously stay home. But the good news is, yes, it is raining, but we're not dealing with any storms right now. So we're not dealing with thunder. We're not dealing with lightning. But the rain continues to fall at a pretty steady clip. So I'll keep you posted. Hopefully the traffic starts to move a little bit quicker than it is right now. But again, we're going to be dealing with the rain for at least several more hours. I'll keep you posted, though, on how things look on the roads for the rest of the evening. Reporting live in the Chevy Storm Tracker, I'm meteorologist Aisha Scott. I'll send it back to you in the studio.
Aisha, thank you. For live Doppler radar and, of course, for the latest updates, download the WCNC Charlotte mobile app and scroll to the weather section. It's free in the App Store.
A brand new General Motors manufacturing facility is opening up in Concord. GM Defense produces infantry squad vehicles for the Army. Today, local lawmakers got to tour the facility along with our own Lana Harris. She joins us with a behind-the-scenes look.
Good evening. Well, you know I had to hop in one myself, and I'll tell you, it is so cool. It's these right behind me. These are the first models like this in the country. They're infantry squad vehicles, 90% made with commercial off-the-shelf parts. And Senator Tom Tillis and our local congressman say they are excited about what this means for the state.
That was awesome.
North Carolina Congressman Richard Hudson was among the first to drive a brand new infantry squad vehicle produced by GM Defense.
Yeah, right. This is the first one in the country.
GM Defense President Steve Dumont says this is unlike most military vehicles. It's made with 90% commercial parts and modeled after the Chevrolet Colorado ZR2.
It's a very durable, very rugged vehicle, but it's also light, agile, and can get soldiers into the fight very quickly and then get them out safely.
GM Defense has called it a better boot for soldiers, providing transport where troops would traditionally have to walk.
Clear! Where are we going?
Senator Tom Tillis, who also took the vehicle for a test drive, says manufacturing military vehicles like these typically come with a number of hurdles.
They're highly customized. Supply chains are more difficult, they're more costly to maintain and repair, particularly on the battlefield. This kind of capability gets through a lot of those problems.
Dumont says it only took about 90 days to get the Concord facility up and running, and that Fort Bragg and North Carolina will be their first customers.
Excited about the speed and agility that General Motors can bring to the defense industry.
Hudson says not only is it more efficient, it's cheaper.
Our warfighters are going to get a vehicle like this, of this quality, at a deal for the taxpayers.
Now, as they continue to grow and expand manufacturing these, JM Defense also believes they'll be able to add more jobs to the area as well. Here in Concord, I'm Lana Harris, WCNC Charlotte.
Today, more than a dozen employers took part in a drive-through job fair in Gastonia. It was hosted by the Gaston Workforce Development Board and the Gaston County Library. Candidates drove up to the library on Garrison Boulevard from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Some of the employers included Dole, GSM Services, NC Works, and Gaston College. New jobs are coming to Iredell County. Global manufacturer JELD-WIN is establishing a new production facility for its brand VPI Quality Windows in Statesville. It will invest $7.9 million in the community and bring 235 jobs with it. VPI, which is headquartered in Charlotte, has been a leading manufacturer of custom windows for multifamily and commercial applications for more than 25 years. A heads up for drivers, the North Carolina DMV is suspending its program to replace older license plates. It's because of an aluminum shortage. License plates that are older than 6 years will remain in use. More than 640,000 replacement plates were produced in the first 4 months of this year, with about another 1.4 million projected to be needed for the rest of 2021. The replacement plates were automatically sent to customers when they renewed their registration.
Coming up, we are taking a look at the aftermath of a horrific metro collapse. Dozens of people are dead or hurt. The latest from rescue crews.
Plus, an important unemployment deadline approaching in South Carolina. What you have to do to make sure you don't end up asking, where's the money?
And teaching has become more difficult than ever the past year because of the pandemic. Did COVID cause a teaching shortage in the Carolinas? Our Verify team taking a look at the issue. And as we head into our commercial break, we want to show you a live look out at the roads. This is I-485 near the U.S. Whitewater Center exit. You can see traffic moving nicely on one side of the road, but westbound at a crawl. We're going to track it. Be sure to stay with us on air for updates on the severe weather. You can also find updates on our WCNC mobile app. Back in a moment.
You've been hurt in a car crash? You don't know what to do because you've got bills to pay and the insurance company is stalling? Campbell & Associates can help.
City after a disastrous metro collapse. At least 23 people were killed and 77 were hospitalized.
The train collapsed onto a busy road, crushing vehicles under fallen train cars and rubble. One subway car was left dangling with people inside, and a crane was brought in to lower it to the ground. Officials say one of the overpass's concrete beams collapsed as the train passed over it.
The U.S. will restrict travel from India starting today. It's because of a disastrous coronavirus surge. India's official count of coronavirus cases has surpassed 20 million, almost doubling in the past 3 months, while deaths officially exceeded 220,000. The U.S. is sending supplies including oxygen, PPE, and raw materials for vaccines.
If there is any help that we can get from the West or from any other countries, is not just oxygen. It is like any major disaster. What happens in a major disaster, an earthquake? Teams of doctors, nurses, hospital beds come in and they build up a hospital from scratch quickly, like a major earthquake. So that is what has to happen.
There are exceptions to that travel ban for U.S. citizens and permanent residents.
Coming up, a very important deadline ahead. If you've recently received unemployment benefits in South Carolina, what you need to do or risk losing them.
All right, rain, go away, come again. Literally any other day than this one. The Knights trying to get on the field for the first time in a year and a half. We'll have more coming up.
All right, I'm tracking a nasty little line of storms that is moving through parts of Anson, Richmond, and Chesterfield counties. New severe thunderstorm warnings for those counties and Scotland County till 6:30. Damaging wind gusts up to 65 to 70 miles per hour. I have the latest track when we return.
Go to markspain.com.
Working on all news stories tonight for WCNC Charlotte News at 6 o'clock, including taking a look at how many teachers in our area are vaccinated. Educators have been able to get the vaccine for a while now, so how many actually did? We've got a breakdown on some of the vaccination rates among school staff in our area. Plus,
I'm Nate Morabito. Yet another American city has passed a law guaranteeing free legal representation to people facing eviction. The movement continues to grow across the country. We're asking, where's the money? Coming up at 6.
And we continue looking into that rotten odor permeating thousands of homes across the Carolinas. A look at why air quality is not the only concern people have. Those stories and much more ahead at 6 o'clock. And now to a very important unemployment deadline. If you live in South Carolina and you've recently collected benefits, you need to take action. It's critical that you upload documentation required to keep getting benefits.
And if you received money and then went back to work, you too need to do this, or you might have to pay the unemployment benefit back. Consumer investigative reporter Bill McGinty is here now with all the details. Hey, Bill.
Yeah, hey, Sarah and Fred. This is a very important story. It affects people who are living in South Carolina only. So about 30,000 people have to take action and provide South Carolina with documentation. You've got to do this by tomorrow night at midnight or risk having to pay the benefits back.
And what do they need to do?
So it is as simple as uploading a single document.
The South Carolina Department of Employment and Workforce says these 30,000 people who received pandemic unemployment assistance payments since December 27th of 2020. People who got the money must upload some required documents by Wednesday, May 5th, 2021, or there could be problems.
Basically, we are federally required to turn off benefits for claimants. That's step one. And this is huge. We would also have to establish an overpayment on their account. And what that means is that for any amount of money they have received in benefits since December 27th of 2020 on PUA, they have to pay that money back to due.
Don't wait. This is easy. Just go into the South Carolina Department of Employment and Workforce, click the green tab called How Do I?, then choose My Benefits Portal. So here's what they need. First, a W-2 showing where you worked, and it has to have your employer listed, or they'll need a paycheck stub. If you were self-employed and business dried up, the state wants a federal tax return from 2020 or a copy of your business license. And if you only collected money for just a little bit and since went back to work, pay attention. This affects you too.
They still have to upload this document. So while their benefits won't be turned off because they've already returned to work, they will still have an overpayment established.
And you know what that means? That means you'll have to pay the money back if you don't adhere to this deadline. If you collected during that time frame, again, since December 27th, you have to do this. I put another step-by-step how-to in the web version with a link to that portal. You can look for it on WCNC.com. As for North Carolina, individuals who filed a PUA claim between December 27th and January 31st, 90 days from the date of notification to submit that documentation. Individuals who filed for PUA on or after February 1st have 21 days to respond. DES here in North Carolina told me late this afternoon that they have been sending out notices, so you probably got one, and they have been receiving documentation from PUA claimants in North Carolina. I know it's a lot of information I just threw at you. You're probably thinking, does this affect me? If you're still curious about that, log on to WCNC.com, look for this story, read it again, and click the links that I have provided you. It'll clear everything up. Sarah?
Bill, thank you. Back to the forecast now, and we're tracking storms right now through the early evening. Here's a look at your first warn Doppler radar. You can see storms moving across the Charlotte area at this hour. For the latest on these storms, let's send it over to Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich. Hey, Brad.
Yeah, the good news, the worst of it is pushing off to the east. We've got 3 counties that we're watching that potentially still have some severe weather here for the next hour. This storm in particular, this is a big bow echo, and you've probably heard that term before. If I were to take a bow and arrow and stretch it like that, you would see the arc of the bow. The arrow is the wind pushing out the middle of this storm. That's why it's got that big arc shape. Those are strong straight line winds, usually in the 60, 70, sometimes 80 mile per hour range. That is blasting through Chesterfield County, southern parts of Anson County, and then most of southern parts of Richmond County as well. So severe thunderstorm warnings for damaging straight line winds. The back edge, good news for the Knights game and the Cannonballers. It's raining now. The tarps are on the field, but the games, most Most of them are going to try to start between 7 and 7:30. Might be a little delay as they get the fields ready, but I think the rain is going to start tapering off here in the next hour or so. So we might see some delays for some of these home openers. We've been waiting a while, but the worst is past, and I do expect things will start to dry out within the next hour and a half to 2 hours. So maybe a slight delay, but we're going to get some baseball in tonight. There's still some showers to the south, but notice all that's moving this way. We'll have to watch this cluster back to the southwest to see how close it gets. So I'll give the all clear from severe in the area in white. No issues at all. There's no more severe weather threat this evening, so you can breathe a sigh of relief. But off to the east, we'll watch that risk for severe storms. There's that severe weather, severe thunderstorm watch. These counties are in basically till 9, but I expect these to be canceled here once that first line of storms moves through. And that's really the key. That first line was the main line. Then tomorrow the front moves through probably midday. We'll likely see a small chance of an isolated shower or two. But the big story for the end of the week is much cooler, drier air moves in. In fact, it's going to feel very crisp and cool around here. Your hour-by-hour forecast tomorrow, again, some morning showers, but for the most part, we should be dry during the daylight hours. We'll just have a 20, maybe 30% chance of an isolated shower, but very warm with temperatures still in the low 80s. Now, the rain was much needed today because the 7-day rainfall forecast still is not showing much more rain in our neck of the woods. In fact, maybe a quarter to a half an inch. So while we don't want to see severe storms, at least they're dumping some localized heavy rain. We have not had a lot of widespread rain here in the last month and a half. So tomorrow, much better day after some morning showers. We'll see highs climb into the 60s in the mountains, right around 80 in the Unifor region as you move from the foothills down to the Hickory area. Low and mid 80s across Metrolina. Most of the metro area is going to see a very warm afternoon just ahead of that front. But once the front pushes through, we'll see some drier air move in as temperatures in the afternoon will be in the low to mid 80s in many locations. But dramatically cooler for Thursday, Friday, and even Saturday. The highs will struggle to get into the 70s. You'll notice the lower dew points and the morning lows briefly in the 40s, but look at that. For Mother's Day, just gorgeous. High temperatures near 81. Take care of Mom. It's going to be a great Sunday.
All right. Thank you, Brad. Well, after nearly a year and a half off, Charlotte Knights baseball returns tonight to Truist Field.
The 2020 season was canceled, of course, because of the pandemic. And weather permitting, the Knights kick off their season at 7 o'clock with a limited number of fans. We're not sure if that's going to happen. We're hoping so. But Sports Director Nick Carboni joins us live from Truist Field. So, Nick, what are you thinking out there? How's it looking?
I'll tell you, I'm a lot more optimistic after I just heard what Brad said. Even if they don't start at the designated time, 7:04, it would just be great to have baseball back at Truist Field again. And yeah, these folks that work here, they are super excited to be back. It's been a tough year and a half for everybody at the ballpark. Still drizzling a little bit right now, but the buzz is building like it normally does before any game day here. And now normally there would be hundreds of fans lined up out here to get in, obviously limited capacity plus the weather. So we have a very big Knights fan, a very patient Knights fan in LaMichael Mitchell here. LaMichael, you're waiting, you're ready to get in. What are you excited about tonight?
I'm very excited about finally seeing Knights baseball again. I know it's been 2 years since we all last attended a game here at the ballpark. I'm just excited to see baseball back here and can't wait to see some Knights baseball action tonight.
Little rain wasn't keeping you away, right?
No, but it's going to keep me away. I'm glad to came here and can't wait to see some baseball tonight.
And he's a Hornets fan too, so he's got everything covered, and hopefully he gets in tonight. A reminder, if you have a ticket to tonight's game and it does get rained out, although we're hopeful that it doesn't, you can use it for any game dependent on attendance or availability in the future. And the Knights, they not only start at home tonight, they're home for about 2 straight weeks. So you're going to have a great day no matter what to see baseball in Uptown. We'll have much more from Truist Field at 6. For now, Nick Carboni for WCNC Charlotte.
All right, we'll see you in a bit. Thank you, Nick.
All right, so do you have a go-to Starbucks order? Do you? No, Fred doesn't. I do. Well, is it simple or mind-numbingly complicated?
Wow, look at that.
A barista is sharing a nightmare order from a customer named Edward. Look at this long list. Wow.
It's kind of ridiculous. You know, this post went viral on Twitter, and now other baristas are sharing the most ridiculous orders they've had to make. I don't know why people can't keep it simple. I mean, in my experience, it's just enough for people to put Fred and not Brad. For some reason, when I say Fred,
it sounds the same sometimes. Like sometimes when
so
people...
why would I make it complicated?
Yeah. Well, I get a grande skinny vanilla latte, but that is on the menu.
Okay.
So, right? That's not too complicated.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Coming up, hey, it's Teacher Appreciation Week. Maybe they would like a Starbucks for Teacher Appreciation Week. We're taking a look at the issues affecting educators in our area, including teacher shortages. We're verifying just how serious the problem is, though.
Get your vaccine.
Well, it is Teacher Appreciation Week, and we are taking a look at the issues impacting educators here in our area.
We hear a lot about teacher shortages in the Carolinas, but what are the exact numbers backing that up? Our Rachel Lundberg verifies.
Since Teacher Appreciation Week is this week, every day we're taking a look at the struggles our local teachers are facing. Today we're verifying if there is a teacher shortage in the Carolinas. Our sources to confirm this are the United States Department of Education and South Carolina's Center for Education Recruitment, Retention, and Advancement. Let's start with the data they are reporting in South Carolina. Nearly 6,000 teachers who were teaching in the spring of 2020, which is when the pandemic started, did not return to their same school district to teach in the fall of 2020, causing at least 699 teacher vacancies right now. According to the United States Department of Ed, teacher shortage reports are showing an ongoing problem in North Carolina too. In fact, the Department of Ed is tracking a teacher shortage across both Carolinas for the next school year. I went through their reports, and here are the areas of need that really stuck out. In South Carolina, unfortunately, there's need K through 12. Primarily language, science, technology, math, art, music, PE, and special education. In North Carolina, all subjects at the elementary level are needed, special education, and then middle and high school math. Maybe you're wondering why. We wondered it ourselves and spoke with Winthrop's Dean of Education about it. It looks like the two big contributing factors right now to the shortage is pay and the pandemic, which is making it difficult to keep teachers and recruit new teachers. So for now and this next school year, we can verify there is a teacher shortage in both the Carolinas. If there's anything you'd like us to verify, reach out on social media or text it in to 704-329-3600. With your Verify for WCNC Charlotte, I'm Rachel Lundberg.
The Charlotte area Hyundai dealers and WCNC Charlotte want to say thank you to teachers for navigating such a difficult year.
Yeah, tell us. We want to hear from you. Do you know a teacher that has gone above and beyond? Well, if you do, you can submit and they can win a 2021 Hyundai Santa Fe. So to nominate that teacher, go to WCNC.com/hometown hero. We can't wait to read all your submissions.
Now here at 6, we continue to track severe weather. The Charlotte area seeing torrential downpours as well as thunderstorms. Our team coverage continues in just 30 seconds.
Plus, getting back to normal, there is a chance that younger students will get vaccinated soon, joining many of their teachers who already got their COVID-19 shot. We have a breakdown on some of the vaccination rates among school staff in our area.
And the rotten smell continues. Tonight, we are looking into that awful smell many of you in South Charlotte and South Carolina have been smelling for months now. But the air quality is not the only concern people have. Thank you for staying with us. I'm Fred Shropshire.
And I'm Sarah French. First, tonight at 6, we do want to start with the weather. Strong storms rolling through the area. This is a look at the first warn Doppler radar. You can see a lot of green out there.
And check out this time lapse from our view cam in Uptown Charlotte. You can see the storms really rolling through this afternoon. South Carolina getting the storms too. This is video out of Rock Hill. You can see rain coming down hard there.
And take a look at these power outages right now in our area. Duke reporting more than 1,000 customers are without power, many of them in Mecklenburg County, but there are some in Cabarrus and York counties as well.
Our team coverage continues for you here at 6.
So we want to send it over to Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich. What's the latest, Brad?
Well, the strongest storm right now is really causing some issues in parts of Richmond and parts of Chesterfield County. This is the only severe storm we have in our area. Severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Chesterfield, Richmond, and Anson County till 6:30 this evening. This downburst around Sherrall heading up into southern parts of Richmond County. There's Rockingham at the top. You see the wind speeds between 66, 63, 74 miles per hour. The reason you see a negative in front of it, the negative tells us which direction those winds are going. So in this case, they're going towards the radar. They get a negative number. If they're going away from the radar, they'd be positive. So these are all strong winds going towards the radar, which is up in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. That's the reason for those numbers. You see that big push of wind pushing into parts of Rockingham, in Laurinburg area. This is going to be a nasty line, probably knocking down quite a few trees. Great news for everybody else. The worst is gone. We're just seeing a few lingering showers in parts of Union County, Mecklenburg County, still some light rain, but it's breaking up quickly. Give it another hour. It's going to be dry in Uptown for the night's game as all this energy is pushing off to the east, and we're starting to see things dry out. So we can give you an all clear from severe in the area in white. That does include Charlotte, Rock Hill, Hickory, Statesville, Salisbury, up to the mountains. We will see things begin to calm down this evening. Coming up, though, we're going to talk about a front moving in tomorrow that will really change things up. I'll break that down coming up in your first warn forecast.
Brad, thank you. Now we do want to get out to WCNC Charlotte's Brianna Harper live in York, where there is a downed tree. Bree, how are things looking out there?
Yeah, so as Brad had mentioned, the good news, the rain is gone. But if you take a look, the lingering effects of that storm are still here along 321 bypass in York. You can see this police officer blocking off at least one lane of this highway where there's a tree in the road. But really, that's the least of the worries. Right now, that tree has actually brought down several power lines here, causing some massive power outages in this area. So they have this blocked off as crews are working to restore those power lines. Luckily, no actual power poles were brought down, so that's always good news. But if you take a look, you can see just how strenuous that tree is pulling those lines down. So the work here will take some time for them to restore that power. And actually here there's an apartment complex just on the other side of us, so I'm sure it will take them some time to restore power to their units as well. We did notice a crew up the road just a bit, probably attending to another issue. Again, several power lines down in this area, so it will take some time if you are without power or know someone who is. But we'll keep you guys updated as we continue to follow this cleanup. Back to you.
All right, Bree, thank you. And make sure to download the WCNC Charlotte mobile app. That way you can get the forecast straight to your phone. It's free in your app store.
Today, President Biden says he hopes to have 70% of adult Americans vaccinated come the 4th of July. To get there, though, he is vowing to broaden access to vaccine, especially in hard-to-reach communities.
The U.S. also looking at starting to vaccinate some children as well. There are reports the FDA could authorize emergency use of the Pfizer vaccine in kids ages 12 to 15 as early as next week. That has the potential to not only help us get closer to herd immunity, but make a lot of teachers, students, and parents feel a little bit bit better about returning to the classroom. There's already a layer of protection in place as many teachers and school staff members got vaccinated when they became eligible months ago. WCNC Charlotte's Chloe Leshner is at Randolph Middle School in South Charlotte with a breakdown on some of the vaccination rates among school staff in our area.
From the start, teachers, school staff, and the organizations that represent them were pushing to be vaccinated before returning to the classroom full time. Now that urgency is showing in the vaccination rate. It's a noteworthy math lesson. Of the 2,500 employees at Rock Hill schools, 1,600 are fully vaccinated.
What it says to us is that our staff really cares about being present and being present with our students.
That's 60% of vaccination rate that's been hard to reach on the county and state level. Rock Hill school officials say they recognize their staff wanted the vaccine and helped make resources available to them.
They are ensuring that if they're exposed by being fully vaccinated, they're still able to come to work and provide the services that they enjoy doing.
Other districts are having success too. Watauga County schools get an A. 90% of the staff is fully vaccinated. At least 2/3 of the staff in Iredell-Statesville schools have gotten the shot, and around 60% have in Union and Chesterfield County schools. Fort Mill Schools has 44%, and Burke County schools have 42% of its staff protected against COVID. Paired with the news the FDA could soon grant emergency authorization for the Pfizer vaccine in kids ages 12 to 15, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. If trends continue, there's hope for a more typical next school year.
Encouraging everyone to do what they believe is right, but keeping in mind that decisions that we make as individuals do have an impact on those around us. And that we continue to be vigilant.
None of the school districts in our area are requiring teachers or staff members to be vaccinated. And by the way, CMS told us that because it is a personal choice, they are not asking teachers to share that information, so they don't have any data to pass on to us. In South Charlotte, Chloe Leshner, WCNC Charlotte.
Thank you. If you have questions about the vaccine, just text the word vaccine to 704-329-3600 and we'll send you back our vaccine guide. A new study found there are not nearly enough attorneys for North Carolinians facing housing-related legal problems. The study, titled In Pursuit of Justice, an assessment of the civil legal needs of North Carolina, found the inadequacy is a top area of need statewide.
Yeah, the report comes in the face of the growing right to counsel movement, which guarantees free lawyers to people facing eviction. It's a movement that WCNC Charlotte's Nate Morabito found continues to gain traction.
One Charlotte City Council member told us he supports the idea, and another said he's open to learning more, especially with the federal eviction moratorium set to expire this summer.
If I'm evicted, my family doesn't have anywhere to go.
Syra Santos is behind on rent, but still has a roof over her head.
I feel secure, very good.
And has a much better shot at avoiding eviction in the coming months thanks to the free attorney offered by the Charlotte Center for Legal Advocacy.
I'm not alone, and the attorneys know how to guide me and get me through this process.
But her case is an exception. Most landlords have lawyers. Most renters don't.
The right to counsel, I think, is something that should be very important, especially when it involves something that is fundamentally necessary.
To level the playing field, cities across the country are funding right to counsel laws. Louisville became the 9th and the first in the Southeast to join the movement just last month, using federal pandemic money to pay for the program.
While providing the funding is a hurdle, it's one that can be overcome.
John Pollack is with the National Coalition for a Civil Right to Counsel.
We have had some conversations with people in North Carolina.
He says not only is the movement gaining momentum, he points to multiple studies that show the investment on the front end can ultimately save taxpayers money.
Spending the money on once someone has become homeless and dealing with all the services that are needed is much less effective than preventing homelessness in the first place.
There's a huge difference in results.
Kenneth Shore and Juan Hernandez are with the Charlotte Center for Legal Advocacy.
The landlords negotiate settlements because they know if they litigate them, they'll lose a lot of them.
They say limited funding already helps keep some renters in their homes and in turn helps them avoid long-term credit problems. That free representation also connects those people with other public services.
It's something that we could do and we should do.
The nonprofit joins Legal Aid of North Carolina in their support of right to counsel laws here, saying with more funding, they could hire more attorneys and help more people like Syra Santos.
It means a lot to me.
Stay in their homes.
I think I wouldn't have even gone to court. I might have just left the apartment without saying anything.
So what do landlords think? The largest industry group of property managers in the area, the Greater Charlotte Apartment Association, tells us the organization doesn't have a formal position yet. Nate Morabito, WCNC Charlotte.
So Congresswoman Alma Adams will deliver the keynote address at JCSU's commencement ceremony. That ceremony is scheduled for May 16th at 11 a.m. It will be held at Bojangles Coliseum. The university will also give Congresswoman Adams an honorary Doctor of Humane Letters degree.
The Knights are back at the ballpark tonight for the first time since August of 2019. We're talking 615 days without Charlotte Knights baseball in Uptown. Since then, the field has been renamed from BB&T Ballpark to Truist Field. The team and the fans hoping the rain doesn't delay the game another day. Nick will have a live report coming up for you in sports.
Tonight we continue our look into that rotten odor permeating thousands of homes across the Carolinas. After the break, a look at why air quality is not the only concern people have.
And all clear from severe in the area in white. We've circled the worst of it has moved on, and the rain has ended in Uptown. So it looks like we're going to get some baseball in. It's just a matter of when that game starts. We'll talk about the drying trend coming up in your First Warn forecast.
WCNC Charlotte. The Carolina Chevy Storm Tracker, only on WCNC Charlotte.
With millions still out of work, why are so many job openings going unfilled? We take a look. Also, why it's become a seller's market for car owners. What's driving a surge in the demand for used cars when we see you back here tonight for NBC Nightly News.
We continue to track strong storms rolling through our area right now. This is a look at the first warned Doppler radar. You can see a lot of rain out there. Brad will have your full forecast coming up in about 3 minutes. New jobs are coming to Iredell County. Global manufacturer JELD-WIN is establishing a new production facility for its brand BPI quality windows in Statesville. It will invest $7.9 million in the community and bring 235 jobs with it. BPI, which is headquartered in Charlotte, has been a leading manufacturer of custom windows for multifamily and commercial applications for more than 25 years.
Tonight we continue looking into that rotten odor thousands of people are complaining about across the Carolinas. South Carolina environmental experts blame the new Indy paper mill in Catawba, South Carolina.
But as state and federal leaders continue to investigate, WCNC Charlotte's Brandon Goldner shows us how air quality is not the only concern people there have.
The Catawba River snakes along the east banks of New Indy's paper mill. That sliver of water is the Catawba River. The mill is just downstream. The riverkeeper says they're not just concerned about the air, but how the mill is impacting the water. The best spot to see the river is driving over the Highway 5 bridge. The trees hide New Indy's facility, but an aerial view shows just how close it is to the river. South Carolina DHEC blames the company's shift from bleached white paper to the brown paper usually found in packages for causing that rancid odor affecting thousands. The Catawba Riverkeeper's Brandon Jones is worried that same change is leading to foam forming in lakes downstream, including Lansford Canal State Park, which is in Jones's Zoom background.
We really depend on it. It's a wonderful part of the area.
He fears the company's new paper process is discharging a lot more surfactants, substances that can create bubbles and cause environmental damage.
No one that we know of at least has actually been testing that. No one's actually been out there and collecting those samples.
According to federal records, the EPA found New Indy violated parts of the Clean Water Act nearly all of last year, including in one quarter when it failed to submit a required discharge monitoring report. Jones hopes the attention on New Indy's air quality will permeate to the water.
We just want to make sure that people are encouraging both their government and their legislators to protect this water resource.
We continue to request an interview with New Indy, and we're still awaiting a response. On the Lancaster side of the Catawba River, Brandon Goldner, WCNC Charlotte.
And a heads up to drivers. South Carolina DOT about to begin work on one of the busiest sections of highway in the entire state. On Thursday, lanes on I-77 in both directions between Sutton Road and Fort Mill and Cherry Road in Rock Hill will be closed. It's all to replace the 48-year-old bridge deck over the Catawba River. The bridge has 121,000 vehicles drive over it every day. The closure will go through May 24th.
The Ronald McDonald Family Room at Hempby Children's Hospital now open. The family room looks more like a home than a hospital rating room. It provides families a space where they can relax, prepare a meal, do their laundry, or even grab a snack. Ronald McDonald House of Charlotte staffs the family room. Once cleared to do so, they will offer programming to families such as visits with therapy dogs and evening activities. Now we want to get another check of the weather. Here's some video we got from a viewer out of Lincolnton. They said hail was falling in their backyard. Brad, thankfully the worst of it seems to have passed, but what do we need to know for the rest of the evening?
The good news is things are drying out, so no worries the rest of the evening. The showers will be coming to an end if they haven't already where you are. The rain still falling in a few spots. Some heavy rain in parts of Wadesboro down to Chesterfield. The worst weather just about ready to exit parts of Richmond County. That's severe thunderstorm warning till 6:30. Still some heavy rain back into Anson County from Polkton along 218, then going up into Stanley County. So much needed heavy rain. We actually need some of this rain. We don't want to see the severe weather. But look at that. The back edge of the rain now entering Uptown. So Kannapolis, the Cannonballers and the Knights playing in Uptown Charlotte. I think both games are going to get. It might be a little bit of a delay as those grounds crews work hard to get that tarp off and rake the field and get the lines out there. Just maybe a little delay because the rain kept them from working on the field. But just a really heavy rain now moving out of the area, and light rain in Charlotte. That should be gone with within the next 30 minutes or so. So we're seeing all the clearing taking place back to the west. Might even see a little bit of sunshine with that sunset just after 8:10 in the evening. All clear for severe in that area in white. Again, we're getting to see those conditions improve. We showed you that severe thunderstorm watch. We're likely to see these counties removed here once that line of storms pushes off to the east, as that watch was supposed to expire at 9 o'clock tonight. Overnight, we'll see a cold front approach, but it's not going to get here to the middle of tomorrow. So that means much drier air is going to filter into the region. It looks like a couple pop-up showers on Friday, but I think the chances are going to be small enough. We're going to keep them out of the forecast for now as that colder air filters in on Friday. In fact, temperatures tomorrow are still going to make it into the low 80s, but notice the wind starts to shift from the southwest to the northwest, or the west and then the northwest late in the day, just a 20 to 30% chance of a stray shower tomorrow. Now, we're not looking at any more rain really tonight into tomorrow, as we're going to get into another dry stretch of weather. 7-day rainfall forecast keeps those rain chances pretty low until next week, and even then we're looking at some scattered showers developing. So tomorrow, beautiful day. Once we get past the morning clouds and showers, those should move out fairly quickly. I expect temperatures still to make it near 80 across the foothills here in the Charlotte area, probably 83, 84, 85 degrees. Most of that activity is going to exit pretty quickly in the afternoon. A few spots towards the Sandhills again tomorrow could get close to the mid and the upper 80s. That's really going to keep us toasty before that front pushes through the area. Now here's the 7-day forecast first. Notice the stretch of weather from Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Very comfortable conditions. Those morning lows will be down into the 40s to near 50. Big warm up for Mother's Day. And then next week, notice the rain chances return as we cool back down into the 70s. But those rain chances are going to be scattered in nature, so nothing widespread. But it does look like we are going to see cooler temperatures going into the middle of next week.
Okay, Brett, thank you. And some breaking news to pass along to you just into our newsroom. Derek Chauvin's defense attorneys have filed a motion seeking a new trial for the former Minneapolis cop convicted of killing George Floyd. The court filing claims, quote, prosecutorial and jury misconduct in the case, as well as errors of law at trial and a verdict that is contrary to law. This comes after growing public scrutiny surrounding a photo of one of the jurors at an August 2020 event in Washington, D.C., where he appeared to be wearing a T-shirt with the words, "Get your knee off our necks."
All right, I'm Nick Carboni live here at the ballpark, where I have great news for you. The tarp is off the field. First pitch, as you can see, still scheduled for 7:04. They're going to play ball here tonight. I'll have more after the break.
Remember, we're so proud of our product here at Leaf Guard. We put our name on the end of every gutter system we install.